The final preseason game is among us, and we're traveling to Dallas to play the Cowboys, man. Now, if this were week 1 of the preseason, this video would have taken me at least 2 or 3 days to make, but since the NFL wants to make it easier for me and put all the film on NFL Pro, I got it done in a few hours. So I went ahead and did the whole scouting process. I scouted the defense, the offense, if you haven't seen these before, and we're going to talk about what they do and what to expect. If you guys do enjoy this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more, because once the regular season breakdowns kick off, bro, they're going to go in so much depth and so much more detail because we're not looking at base concepts anymore. But let's go on and get into the film, man. So to make this notes section easier, I kind of already pre-did it myself. I just put everything in an image, so we're just going to talk about it from here. So once again, it's the preseason. So Matt Eberflus is the defensive coordinator for this Cowboys team, and if you go looking back at some of his Chicago Bears stuff, it looks just the same. You know, 4-3 base, 4-2-5 over defense when they get in the nickel. They run cover 3 and cover 2 almost 67% of the time, and this isn't even just preseason. This is going back to when Eberflus was with the Bears. Like, you track all of his snaps, it's either cover 2, cover 3. You know, you get a few mix-ins here and there, but this is mainly what you can expect on, you know, passing downs. And as far as like miscellaneous things, once again, this is the preseason, so we're not getting into too much detail, but there's minimal blitzing and they're a struggling run defense. But it's always been a thing with the Dallas Cowboys, like for like the past 5 or 6 years, where they either can't stop the run or they can't run the ball, and sometimes it's usually both. So this is pretty much it for the defense. Now, offense is a little bit more complicated, so I will say a little bit more here. So as far as their identity on offense, they are an 11 personnel team. Really, every team in the league is an 11 personnel team. But one thing I did see is they run 21 personnel a lot. They're top 10 in 21 personnel usage. I think about 8th, right? As far as the main run concepts go, they're an inside zone team. You know, they're leading the league in inside zone runs, right? But a lot of their runs are hitting between the tackles. So inside zone, trap, and draw. Those runs, they hit between the tackles, and those are their most used runs, right? Their only counter punch is the pin and pull to keep defenses honest, and we'll get into what that looks like in a minute. But as far as their tendencies, they throw a lot between the numbers, specifically between 0 to 10 air yards. So a lot of their passes are aiming that way because linebackers really can't cover it. So it's going to be on our linebackers to be able to cover that grass and, you know, really stick to routes and coverage. And they're also very aggressive in early down passing. I think this is like a result of them not being able to run the football that much, because they don't run the ball out on first down, but they start to run the ball more and more as, you know, the downs get later and later, because they're passing to run. But also the last thing is they're very motion heavy, so they're trying to undress the coverage, get answers for the quarterback and other things like that. So it's up to the defense to also hold true to their defense and hold true to the rules and not get misled by any motions or cause any miscommunication. So let's go and get into the cut-ups, man. All right, so let's talk about their coverages. So this is the cover 3 match that I talked about earlier. So we're going to look at the offense first and see what they're doing. So they're going to be running these out and ups on the outside for the receivers. It's a mirrored concept, which means you're going to get the same thing on both sides. Okay. On the number 2 receiver, they're going to do this like this stutter seam, and then they're going to kind of break out. That's what they're doing. I'm not sure what this is, but they're going to do the same thing on the same side, where they're going to kind of stutter and then work out. And you're also going to get, once again, get those out and ups by the number 1 receivers. And you can't even really see this for real. Let me redo that. And then the running back is going to do a check burst. So that means he's going to check over the middle and then work out that way. So defensively, once again, cover 3 match is usually a weak rotation thing, which means the weak side safety is going to be the one rotating down, and that is the weak side safety, Marquise Bell. So if we look at what it is, it's a middle third, deep third, or outside third, curl flat, hook curls right here, and then also another curl flat. 3 deep, 4 underneath. So if we look at the rules one by one, if you're going to go from outside to in, and this applies to both sides for a 2x2 formation, where if you have the outside third player, which are the corners, they have the number 1 receiver. They have all of him unless he goes under within 5 yards. Okay, so that means you're pretty much playing man to man unless he goes under. So if he does a fade route, that's you. If he does an out route, that's you. If he does a post, that's you. If he goes about 10 and hooks it up, that's you. If he goes out fast, that's you. The only time you don't guard him is if he goes underneath within 5 yards. And then in that situation, you're going to zone off and play your deep third, okay? Now on the curl flat defender, it's the same thing. You have all of number 2 unless what? Unless the same thing happens where he goes under within 5 yards. So guess what? If he goes out fast, that's you. If he goes vertical and presses the seam, that's you. If he does another post, that's you. If he does a sell route, that's you. does a 10-yard curl. That's you. And once again, the only time you don't cover him is when he goes underneath 5 yards. In that situation, you will zone off and you will play your true curl to flat. Okay. Now the hook players, they are true hook to curl defenders, which means they're going to be pretty much the only ones playing zone. However, since there's a fast 3 threat right here in the backfield, which is the running back, so if you just count outside the end 1, 2, and then number 3, if he expands fast to the flat right here, guess who's got to take him? You have to play through 3, and you got to go get him. Okay. And now say he will split out right here and they have an empty set right here. So we're going to put the H back right here. And if he goes across, you have to take that number 3 through. Okay. And same thing if he was on the other side, right? So if we put him on the other side and he's right here and he goes under, guess who has to take him now? The opposite hook curl running back, because he's going to eventually deliver him to him and then drop back off into coverage. Because guess what? There's probably going to be something else coming back across where he has to deliver that and then get back on this crossing route right here. And then the other guy is the middle field player. He's always going to be the post safety, staying over top of everything, right? And so if we look at how this plays out, once again, remember the route distributions. So check this out. We're going to play through it a little bit, and you're going to see that. Let's look up here for the first one. Look at this. He's pressing the seam. He kind of stutters and goes. Guess what? He's matching him, right? He's breaking out first, and guess what? He's matching him. And he's going to break back up. He's matching him. Okay, cool. Same thing up here, right? Where he's pressing to the seam and he's going to match him. He's going out. He's matching him. He's going to stay on top of that, right? He's staying over top, and he's the only true hook to curl, because guess what? Number 3 went out, and so now this linebacker has to match him. And guess what he's doing? He's matching him now. So this is pretty much what cover 3 match is, because it looks like man coverage, but it's really not. It's only man coverage in certain situations, because guess what? If you were to say, oh, well, this is man coverage, well, look at him. Initially, he's not even keying this. If this is man to man, guess what? This linebacker is going to meet this running back here, and he's not taking, zone drops. He's waiting for that guy to react, right? He's waiting and reacting. So this is cover 3 match. So let's go and get into cover 2. So this is their cover 2. Now, cover 2 looks the same pretty much everywhere unless you're running palms, right? But I want to say that the offense, it doesn't matter what they're doing, because they're going to be doing a screen pass, but you're going to see how this coverage plays out. So if you don't know cover 2, you already know you have your flat players on the outside, right? They're supposed to reroute everything inside, funnel them to the half safeties, right? And then you're going to zone turn and get depth, right? Sometimes they play it to where they're playing a trap 2, which means they're going to just stay flat no matter what. But sometimes they could play like a cloud 2 or a squat 2, which means they're going to bail, and then if the ball is thrown to the flat, then they go down, right? You're gonna let the ball bring you down. But in this situation, they're playing a squat 2, so they're pretty much bailing a little bit more to help out that safety and mitigate this weakness, which is the whole shot. You're gonna have your hook to seam players right here, okay? And then this is the magic. This is the magic man right here. You hit your most athletic guy, okay? This is what we call a pole runner, or he's the middle run through. So, or people call him 3 up is 3. So he's right here. This is the number 3 receiver, right? So that means you have to open up his way. So that means you have to open your hips up this way and drop. And then if he doesn't, threaten you deep, you can go ahead and settle and then look for work, okay? And that's exactly what he's gonna do. So it's pretty much used to protect the deep part of the field. It's really conservative coverage, right? But when you play it a certain way, it could be very deadly behind a 4-man rush, which already is pretty damn good for the Cowboys because they have Donovan Ezaraku and Michael Parsons, but it's the preseason, who cares, okay? And the weakness of this coverage is like right here in the intermediate, right? Or right here in the short to intermediate, because guess what? Nobody's guarding it. That's the no cover zone. So if you watch it play out, let's look at this guy right here, because he plays the technique perfectly in cover 2. So watch this. He's going to get up in the corner's face, okay, and then give 2 hands on and reroute. And he doesn't turn his body towards the receiver. He turns it towards the quarterback. We call that a zone turn, okay? We're going to have to force him outside, and then you're going to turn your back towards him and also get depth as he goes, okay? That way, if the ball is thrown, you're in position to make a play, and you also have over top help, because guess what? It's a deep half right there. And if this ball is thrown right now, guess what? You still see that coming, so you can fall off of that fade route and go pick this off and take it to the crib, okay? And look at this. That's pretty much exactly what happens, right? The only thing is he doesn't throw it. So you see the zone turn, you see he's getting depth, but you see this out route is already right there. So if he has to throw this out in front of him, and guess what? He can go jump that and take it to the crib, but you see the screen passes right here getting developed, so it really doesn't matter. But this is what their cover 2 looks like. All right, so now we're on the Cowboys offense. So like I said before earlier in the video, we're doing their offense. If we just draw a box from the numbers to the numbers, like within 10 yards, this is where their entire offense operates, okay? Dak Prescott and them, they love to get down through here because guess what? You see most of the second level defenders are right here. The linebackers, the nickels right here, they're going to be operating in this space more times than not. So you would take your chances, you know, on the linebackers because there are more linebackers, you know, in the middle of the field because they really can't cover, okay? And so what they're doing, you know, from an offensive standpoint, they're doing a split field concept. So we split the field in half. We have two different things going on, right? We're going to have stick on the front side and then spacing on the back side, okay? And so we look at this. So stick, when it's a condensed split receiver, which means he's going to be cutting his split down from outside to inside the numbers, okay? Instead of being a mandatory outside release, he's going to be running this Omaha route, which is to really pull the flat defender immediately, okay, to make this stick route easier to read, which is right here, okay? It's about 5 yards, stick it up, and then if you get match man to man, you're going to break it out. And then we have spacing on the backside where you're going to have this guy run over the ball and sit down. And you're going to have a little hitch route. And usually the running back will swing out right here and try to pull any flat defender. However, since they're blitzing, he's going to sit in and protect because guess what? There's one less guy in coverage, which means they're going to be extra voids, okay? And so if we're reading this, once again, we're picking the side. And so the Ravens, they like to rotate down strong. So this is the strong side of the formation. So he can expect this safety to roll down and cover if he were to roll down and cover this out route, okay? Which means he's going to be reading stick to the spacing route right here. And so from a coverage standpoint, they're doing a 33 blitz. So that's, you know, we already know what this is. 3 deep, 3 underneath. He's going to rotate to the middle, outside third. He's going to be the one blitzing. And then you're going to have your seam. And then this guy right here, he's a 3-rec guy. So that means he's going to open up towards the strength, okay? Because this is the strength. The running back is right here. The passing strength, rather. He's going to open up that way, which is going to make this read clear right here, okay? And so when we watch this play out, you're going to see that once this route gets going, you see that he's going to rotate down and go get this out route, see? And it leaves 2 guys open, so you can really just pick your poison on that one. And he was able to get it to the tight end. They got about 12 yards out of this. So it's one of the things we got to look out for. We have to match the routes aggressively and not just be looking like this where guys are just wide open underneath, right? That's Jimmy Lake-esque defense. All right, so right here is another one of their throws over the middle. This is off of play action. So what we're going to have here, obviously you're going to have this play action. Let me get this out. I don't even know why I did that. So you're going to have this play action fake by the running back. He's going to sit in protection. He's going to check over the middle, okay? You're going to have a variation of wide cross going on right here. We're going to have a mandatory outside release. You're going to have your out route. Then you're going to have this tight end come on a crossing route, okay? And then you're going to have your backside dig. Now, what's good about this is they're going to be doing like this gap protection where they're going to bring a guy across the line of scrimmage and have him go. So they're going to just do something like this, right? And then everybody else is going to kind of down block because it's trying to get these linebackers to bite up, because we know as linebackers, when we see a guard pull, we have to step up and, you know, acknowledge that, which is going to open up this crossing route, going to open up this dig route, okay? Both routes were open. So one thing about this, we have to play the run fakes. We have to get to our landmarks and cover. We got to be smart about it, okay? Because look at this. We look at that run fake. It was crisp. Everybody bit up. You see this guy right here. He got all the way sucked into that run. And now there's a big void in the middle of the field. And guess what? He hits that backside dig in between the numbers and got an extra few yards out of it. So that play action pass is going to be working if they can run the ball, which I don't think they'll be able to run the ball that much, but we'll see what happens. All right, so the last thing we're going to look at is something I think that can pose a problem to us, and that's this draw run. So like you saw earlier in the video, they like to run these draw plays. And so I have it fast forward just a little bit because they're going to flip the running back. But look, one thing I want to tell y'all or show y'all is that Joe Milton is pointing out this is the new Mike declaration, right? So that means he's the Mike of the play. That means they're going to be going to him, okay? And so we're going to look at what this draw play is real quick. So if we look at the blocking of a draw play, you're literally just going to be letting these guys run upfield, and you're going to ride them upfield and take them where they want to go, okay? So everybody's going to get ridden upfield. If they go upfield, that is, if they're going to sit there and play patty cake with you, you're just going to sit there and take it, pause. But if everybody's getting upfield, you're going to just ride them upfield. And right here, you're going to get a double team right here to this guy. This tight end is going to go get number 54, and it's going to open up a big hole right down the middle of the field, okay? And so just to take you through the nuances of this play right here, once again, we have this mic declaration by Joe Milton. He's going to point to the mic. He sees it. Look at his stripe. He's looking right at him. Okay. And then if you look at, the center, he's going to tap his left guard and say, hey, man, I'm going to help you. And I'm going to combo up to the running back, the linebacker. He's pointing at him and telling them that. Okay. So once they get this ball, you have that combo right here, right? You're going to have him go right up to the linebacker. Guess what? Look at the right side. Everybody's gonna run upfield. He's gonna ride him upfield. He rode him upfield. He kind of locked him out. He locked him out. And guess what? 2 hands on the second level defenders, and it pretty much hits right down the hash, and they get 8 yards. So if we want to stop this, we can't necessarily just shoot upfield, because guess what? They're gonna let us go upfield, and we're gonna take ourselves out of the play, right? But it's really gonna be on the safeties to feel and stop this run, and the linebackers to get off these blocks at the second level and make a play on the ball carriers. So this is the one thing I am kind of worried about as far as the run game. So y'all already know this game is really for the guys that are really trying to secure their roster spot. So don't really expect any important guys to play. I'm really expecting, some of the guys that I hope to make the roster play, and I hope they make plays. Guys like Kobe, that's probably the only person I'm really going to be paying attention to, because everybody else I'm really not necessarily worried about, because I feel like, they'll get in where they fit in. But I'm really looking forward to Kobe to making plays in this game. So I'm looking forward to it. If you guys did enjoy this, be sure to like and subscribe for more. I will be uploading more stuff like this in the future, and I'll see y'all later in the next video. Goodbye.